episode of Taking It to the House was brought to you by EBH Fitness Studios. It's a way of life.
I'm Dr. C. Victor Herban III. I'm taking it to the house.
And I'm Dr. Timothy Hoover, and I'm taking it to the house. Vic, first, before we get started and get knee deep, I need to make an apology to the Carr family, to Derek and David Carr. Last week, I was talking about David as though he's still playing. He is not playing. It's Derek Carr for the Las Vegas Raiders. So my apologies. Errors were made. I need to apologize to the Carr family. And for those who didn't know, David Carr used to play for the Houston Oilers or Texans back in the day, and he used to get mollywopped on a regular. And so, yes, my bad. Oops. Where do you want to start, sir? We had Monday night last night. We had some Take It to the House pick'ems last week that we need to go over. I don't know how you did, and I do know. We suck. Right. We suck. So I'll let you take the lead.
It's about 3 weeks during the basketball season before we gave up our prognostication skills. Look, we only have 17 games in the NFL. So the first 4 weeks, I don't know how well we did, but I don't think anybody need to be taking our picks to Vegas. However, I'm not done yet. I ain't done yet. Ain't dead, can't quit. So I got some more picks today, and we'll see how we work it. But you got to tell me, bro, how did you think about this last weekend of football? Great headlines. We talked about it going into Tampa Bay versus Patriots. We had the Ravens going at it against an undefeated Denver Broncos team. We had Seahawks. We had the NFC West battle, Seahawks and Niners, Rams versus Cardinals. I mean, what did you see this week? What did you think about some of those highlighted games?
Well, with the exception of the Patriots game, they were on the road. I thought the home team was going to win. And I didn't expect the Buccaneers to be that close. And you know what? We'd have been 0-3 except for a doink. And Bill Belichick deciding to kick a field goal instead of going for those 3 yards to get the first down and run the clock out and win. So starting with the Buccaneers and Patriots, it was rainy out. I think it affected Tom Brady's play, but it's him coming back to his roots, if you will. And I thought it was a fantastic game, standalone game. The world was watching, and it was must-see TV. So you picked earlier that the New England Patriots were going to win their division. And I can see why you said that now, because Mac Jones, he can ball. He can play well, and he has an outstanding coach. Why I say that? Because the way they manipulated the game, played the game, called the game, and actually almost won the game when everybody else, with the exception of a few Patriots fans and the players, thought the Buccaneers are just going to mollywop them, roll them over. So we got that one right, but we almost got it wrong. Going to the Rams, and then the Cardinals on the road. I thought the Rams was going to take care of business, handle their business, and do what they were supposed to do. However, no. The Cardinals says we were 3-0 for a reason. Now we're 4-0. And I was watching a little bit of that game. I didn't get a chance to watch the full game. Kyler Murray is that dude. And then they have an outstanding receiving core. And then they got your boy Edmonds running the ball. I don't see where they're really lacking in any errors or weak in any errors. So they're playing all three phases, special teams, defense, and offense, with Kyler Murray handling the business, being point guard, and really just went to the Rams, went to LA, and beat them up. Took their lunch money, shook them upside down, and took what was left. And so I think the Cardinals are saying, look at me, look at us. I picked the Rams to win that division, but not so fast, say the Cardinals. And then the other game, you got Seattle going to the Bay. I thought, and I predicted that the 49ers were going to handle their business again, do what they're supposed to do after losing previously against Green Bay. And I thought they'd be a little bit more angry. But it came down again to the other games that we're talking about. It comes down to quarterback play. Well, what is Jimmy Garoppolo known to do? He gets hurt. Trey Lance comes in, and he's a a rookie. Okay, good or bad? No, he just doesn't have the reps. He doesn't have the experience. And so to leave the game in his hands, and then you're going against the Seahawks, where you got Russell Wilson, who seemingly made no mistakes that game. Seahawks came. They were a little bit more hungrier. They have holes, but Russell Wilson leading the point for the Seahawks made the difference. So I went with the home team, with the exception of the Buccaneers and Patriots game, and I thought the home team was going to be able to handle it. You got crowd noise, you got coaching, you got good quarterback play. With Garoppolo maybe being the exception, he's good enough, but no. So wrong. And then you got your Ravens. I thought the Ravens should have just beat that tail. That's what I think. I think they should have just whooped them, kicked that tail, and don't look back, kind of a thing. I thought the Ravens were the superior team, but they just played it close to the vest, and maybe, in my opinion, just too close to the vest. And so we didn't pick that game, but it's for the same reasons that I believe we didn't choose it, is because it wasn't a must-see game. It was just your team, and I know you're fanboy about those Ravens, but yeah. And I know on the docket you wanted to talk about those last 5 yards or 4 yards for the record. So I'll leave that to you, let you set the table. I did. Your thoughts on the review, sir?
Oh, man. Again, great games. I just do not understand how we keep missing. I thought, based off of previous play, and again, it goes back to what we talked about last week, there still was no preseason. And some of these starters did not play, so some of these teams still are trying to work out their kinks. So I think it's even better why today's episode of the show, we look at an audit of the 4 weeks, because now we're going to start getting an idea of who's for real, who's a contender, who's a pretender. But even based off of last week's play, going into that game, I felt that the Los Angeles Rams versus Arizona Cardinals was going to be the game of the week. One, because the Rams were so dominant against Tom Brady the week prior. So, and you're at home. And that would have been a statement game, 2 clashes of Titans within that division, both undefeated. And I gave the edge to Sean McVay as a more seasoned coach, gave the edge to Matt Stafford, a more seasoned quarterback. And golly, man, Kyler Murray and that team, Arizona, came out there and they said, we were the little brother. And we may be that, but I'm going to bust you upside your head when you ain't looking. And I think they got the league on notice. They definitely have the division on notice, because guess what? They're on top of the division. But it definitely seemed like something was off for the Rams. I mean, obviously, Arizona had their number, and it wasn't even close. The score indicates a lot closer game than what it was. But what they brought to that fight was definitely a gun, and the Rams had the knife, or they had some rocks, because they didn't come ready to scrap like the Cardinals did. And so it's definitely evident, but it's not definitely doesn't give me a cause for concern for the Rams. I still think they're one of the top teams in the NFC. I still picked them to go to the NFC conference game, but I think getting punched in the mouth last week by a team in your division woke them up. Now, how does Sean McVay and his team respond to that? Definitely, again, San Francisco, they're home. They just got embarrassed by Green Bay. So both teams coming off a loss. I speak of Seattle and San Francisco, both coming off a loss, but I gave the edge to San Francisco, as you stated, because they're home. And who would have thought that they would lose twice in a row? But the X factor, injuries, and the question mark on Garoppolo is his health. And the best availability is availability. And so he failed the team. I mean, he's like the football version of Anthony Davis. I mean, can we count on him being in the lineup and finishing a game? And for that game to be as close as it was, that was the difference. Him not being, I mean, you can't expect the rookie to come in those kind of conditions and not be able to perform at his best. So, it is a division game, so they get to play twice. But that was big because, again, San Francisco was home. Next time they face them, they'll have to play in Seattle. Then definitely we look at Tampa Bay. We knew going into the Tampa Bay New England game, it was supposed the narrative around it was bigger than the game was supposed to be. Definitely did not expect that game to be as close as it was. And because it was that close, it definitely had my eyes peaked and say, wow, New England has something. And to your point, I have not really watched the New England game this year. And since that was in prime time, they had my attention. And that kid, Mac Jones, is the real deal. He is the rew deal. Can you see why he may have beaten out Cam Newton? That dude had no fear. I mean, he was balling. And you're right, a doink away from winning, a doink away from taking Tom Brady, who was the franchise, who is the man still in New England, from sending him back at the L as defending champs. Yeah. So he brought it. And again, I will always sway in the hands of Bill Belichick and his defense. And them boys, you want to, hey, some way say it's the weather conditions. I don't care. Tom Brady's been playing there for 20 years. So for them to stifle that team like that off of their loss against the Los Angeles Rams. So there was a statement made when New England, at least, I mean, they had a chance. They had it. The game was in their grasp. So, and then, yes, my Ravens, I think they had a victory hangover, but we can't play like that. There's teams that you're supposed to beat up on and just destroy them. So coming off the Detroit Lions, I thought that would have been the wake-up call. Look, at the end of the day, Denver was an undefeated team. They're an undefeated team, but who did they play to become undefeated? We talk about who's on your schedule. So I expected my team to go out there and bust a mud hole in their tail. They handled their business, but I think it could have been a lot more effective. But if you look at the stats that Lamar put up, he passed for over 300 yards. And I like that they are showing his versatility, because now how the defense start matching up against him? How do they match up against when they know he can stay in the pocket and throw over 326 yards? And here it is, 4 games in, he's already rushed for 1,000 yards and passed for over 1,000 yards and rushed over 250. No other quarterback has done that. So if he keeps that pace up, he can have another MVP type season. But I need them to put up bigger W's, bigger margin of victories. But maybe, again, this is about gaining the confidence. The real issue in that game is, you're running back. You were running back. And here it is.
Yes, sir.
There's some drama going on, some sore losers going on. Look, there is an existing record that the Pittsburgh Steelers have held for 43 years. Most consecutive 100-yard rushing. Here it is. The Ravens are about 4 yards away or 3 yards away from for tying that record. We're talking about since 1977. And so what they do, they don't down the ball. They run it. The quarterback runs, it gets 5 yards today, so they tie the record. Someone's panties in a bunch. Denver Broncos fans, as well as their coach, panties in a bunch, talking about those Bush League. I got to ask you, as a running back and for the love of the sport, how do you, I mean, were they wrong? Were they wrong on that?
Good question. Nobody likes that at the end of the games, and it's not within the game. Nobody, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, nobody likes that. I remember somebody in the NBA missed a layup so they can get another rebound to get a triple-double kind of a thing, So to not be part of the game and in the game, I can see where there's a question mark. But here's the thing. You asked me, and here's my honest answer. They should have stopped them for 4 quarters, okay? Don't wait don't have a problem later on, okay? If you have a problem, you got a problem with yourself. You got a problem with losing. You lost the game. How you lose is not dictated by the loser. No. To the victor goes the spoils, okay? And so the Ravens went ahead, and as they were cleaning up, okay, they swept and made sure everything was tidy and clean on their doorstep. Oh, by the way, as the game is going on, they're conscious of this particular record. I like that, okay? Because the coach is thinking about this does mean something to you and their legacy for later on. So, okay, that's my answer. If you got a problem with it, Denver and anybody else, don't let it happen. Stop it for 4 quarters. You got 60 minutes to not let that happen, let alone a few seconds dictate the game. No, and no. You need to worry about protecting your quarterback so he doesn't get concussed again. You need to worry about your 53 players or plus, okay, on a Sunday to Sunday basis, and not the last few minutes, last few seconds of a game for a record. And you know what? I believe if it were reversed, Denver would do it as well. What's your thoughts on that? What you got?
I'm with you. You don't like it, stop it. If you didn't see me kneel, then stop it. I've been doing it to you all game. I'm going to get my record. And you know what? You deal with that because it is bigger than me. It's bigger than the game. Hey, I didn't break it on you. I just tied it on you. But you had a chance to stop it. Even if you couldn't done it for the last 59 minutes and 57 seconds. You had a chance right here. If it meant that much to you in front of your fans, then do something about it. So take that somewhere. And then again, this for NFL. This is more than just the Ravens and the Denver. Like from an NFL record standpoint, who would have known that that record even stood? 43 years? As a Ravens fan, I love it because how long can that record stand? That just shows a commitment to a system. And in this league or in this time period of the NFL, where it's very air raiding, a lot of passing, there's very few teams who are committed to the run. So that shows you're talking about 43 consecutive games. That's almost 4 years worth of we're going to run the ball. And that's who we are. And stop us. And still do that for 100 yards every day, every game for 43 consecutive. I think that's awesome. So again, that's your issue, Denver. Fix it. That's your issue. Next in practice this week, work on your run defense. How about that? So again, I had no issue with that. You know, you don't like it, stop me. But one game we forgot, or we didn't forget. What about Monday night? Classic Raiders, Chargers. I mean, another match in the AFC West between two Titans. I mean, what do you think that you saw last night on Monday Night Football? What do you think about that?
Quarterback play again. I have to lead with that, and I can end with that. Your boy for well, you know what? I want to back up. I want to start with the crowd noise. Did you hear how pro Las Vegas that crowd was last night? And it was a home game for the Chargers, LA Chargers. That first got my attention. That's the first thing that got my attention. And so I was thinking, wow. And if crowd has anything to do it, and we have proven already by our narrative thus far, that it does not matter. So booing or not, the Chargers came out led by their quarterback, young quarterback, Herbert, and he just came out, boom, 7 before you can blink. And I'm like, okay, all right. And I was watching this play during the whole game, and he didn't get shook. He wasn't rattled, making beautiful passes. I don't know if you remember that pass to Eckler that scored a touchdown over a taller man, but Eckler's a shorter man. And so the degree of difficulty to make that pass was awesome. And it was with touch. And he's a humble guy. He doesn't have to do a lot of pizzazz and flair or after touchdown celebrations. He's just going about his business. So I'm starting to like this Herbert guy. I like. What I'm surprised is that the Chargers actually won the game. I thought the Raiders, being undefeated up to last night's game, I thought the Raiders were going to win. It wasn't one of our pick'em games, but just me being a fan, I thought Gruden's a little bit better. He's more seasoned. Their other coach is a rookie coach. Herbert is second year, maybe third year. I don't know, so don't quote me on that. But everything was, to me, I thought was the advantage for Gruden in the system. And last week we talked about finally they seem to be meshing in gear, getting it together. And then last night they came out and they pee-peed in the bed. I don't even know if they showed up. Yeah, there was a lightning delay in a dome stadium. What is that? Okay. Chargers didn't even come out. The Raiders came out and had to go back in. Did that affect it? No, these are professionals. These are millionaires. Come and play the game. They didn't come to play. The Chargers weren't prepared, and they didn't come out. And in the game, the results showed it. You can't wait for 2 quarters to go by, and then you wake up. Raiders, you can't wake up after 2 quarters being down by. This is a professional league. You're not supposed to come from behind. It does happen, but it caught up to you, and you haven't led But this year, they were quoting some stat last night that I thought was interesting, and I can't quote it per se. So I'm interested in what happens to the Raiders going forward. But I did not pick the Chargers to even win the division, let alone be in their division. I picked them to go last place, and now they're leading their division. So I don't know how to pick them anymore. But I'm going to keep picking. I'm going to keep picking because that's what we do. Give me your review, sir, on last night's game.
Same point. I mean, were the Raiders drunk on their own success? You're only as good as your last game, but your last game does not dictate future performance. You still have to play. And when you have these division games, it doesn't matter if you have won every game or lost every game. The teams are so familiar with one another, you throw out records. And it did sound great this being watching LA fans, root on the Los Angeles Rams, but also, a reflection of what the old school Los Angeles Raiders. So the Raider fans travel well. I mean, they travel well for years. Yeah. So this is great just to see that and feel that atmosphere and wonder, wow, were they? I thought they were in LA, not Vegas. So, I mean, you could not tell the difference. Being from San Diego, I remember those old school games when the Raiders would come up there and, oh, man, San Diego Chargers versus Los Angeles Raiders or Oakland Raiders, and it get kind of gruesome. I'm not talking about on the field. I'm talking about in the stands. So I can only imagine how Raider fan took that L last night. Woo, I'm glad I wasn't there to see that. So, but back on the field itself, wow, Bear is doing it. Eckler is doing it. They've got some weapons on the Chargers team. Now, will LA ever become a Charger city? No. However, they are making a great push to say we are relevant. They're relevant. I mean, they are balling. So it was great to see that. But to your point, I don't care. I don't want to hear about being a weather relay impacted the Raiders' performance. Look, as you stated, you're a professional football team. You travel East Coast to West Coast, North to the South. Play ball. You had a game plan against this team. That didn't matter. That game plan was going to be exercised 30 minutes earlier or 30 minutes later because of lightning. When you get on the field, between the lines, you play ball. And so somewhere along the line, I guess they may have forgotten that the kickoff started and the game actually began. Because by the time they found out that they were down by 14 points, they were climbing up a pretty big hill there. And the Chargers were playing ball. So I love what I watched. I love seeing this young talent. And again, it's always a great when the Raiders are relevant in the NFL. So to watch that battle, it was great. But it'll be interesting again as we watch the pecking orders in the AFC West, because who's on top? The Los Angeles Chargers and the Denver Broncos.
What?
And who's bottom? Yes. Who's bottom? Kansas City Chiefs, the defending AFC champs 2 times. So this is going to be very interesting as we go into this next 4 weeks of the season. So, but I thought it was a good game. So far, all these primetime games have not disappointed. There's yet been a dud for any of these primetime games, Sunday night or Monday night and Thursday night.
Yes. We got some pick'em games. 3 pick'em games. We got the Rams, 3-1 Rams going to Seattle against the Seahawks, 2-2 Seahawks. We got the Browns, 3-1, the division leading Browns, AFC North. Okay, I picked that. Browns going to the Chargers. And then we got the Bills at the Chiefs, 3-1 Bills against the 2-2 Chiefs. I'll leave that. Let you marinate. Let that marinate just a little bit. What you think, sir? Now, I want you to take your time. We're being held to this. Maybe somebody's leaning on you and I to pick these games for us. And I will tell people, whatever I pick opposite me, okay? Based on my record. Don't choose what I choose. Your picks, sir. Those 3 games.
Oh, wow. These are going to be some great ones this weekend. In fact, I will be in Seattle watching this game against the Rams. And while I'm going to go for the home team because I'm in their neck of woods, and this is part of my bucket list item, going to every stadium, I really expect the Rams to win this game. It's going to be very electric. I expect the Rams. I expect McVay to say, that taste in my blood, Yeah, that wasn't right. But he's one of those dudes said, I want some more. So I expect him to taste the blood and say, yeah, let's go. I expect him to punch the Seahawks in the mouth because I still believe they're the best team in that division. I think they're the second best team in the conference. Yes, I'm sticking to that. It's going to be a great game again because it's a division matchup. I still feel that the Seahawks are still trying to find themselves. I think the Rams are the most talented team. And they just hit a road bump last week. If they lose it on Thursday night, then there definitely going to be some relooking how I envision that division. But I definitely pick the Rams. Who would you pick?
I'm with you. I'm not picking the home team this time. I think the superior team is the Rams when we talk about all three phases, and they have their offensive weaponry when you can go run the ball to set up the pass or pass to set up the run, or you got the deep threat, you got the inside slot threat, you got every threat on offense that you need, and an outstanding quarterback play. I'm not saying he's superior than your boy Russell Wilson. I just think he has more weapons and they're very efficient. Besides that, their defense is far superior than the Seahawks. So I'm Rams on the road to win. Now we got the Browns against who I got the Browns against the Chargers. Browns going to the Chargers. If you saw the last game, boy, Mayfield didn't have a very good game, but they won in spite of him. And that's how good the Browns are. But I don't pick them to win this game. I think the Chargers are that good. And you're right. The offense that the Chargers have when they got your boy Williams and Keenan Allen, I believe that's who it is. You got Eckler. And then their defense, you got one of the Bosa boys on defense, and they are stingy, and they come after you. So I'm not downgrading the Browns to uplift the Chargers. I just think the Chargers win. That's my choice. What say you?
What a battle. AFC North, my AFC North brethren. But because that running game that Cleveland has is disgusting. I mean, between Chubb, who runs hard like he's trying to take you out, Kareem Hunt, that's scary. But I do feel that Baker Mayfield could be the difference, and it all depends on which Baker shows up. And because the way the Chargers have been playing, I, too, will sway towards the Chargers. They're at home, so I expect their crowd to be in it. I think, the way Abear played off this last week, the confidence is high. They know the stakes are high. I do pick them. They have some great weapons, but it's going to be a great game. So I have picked the Chargers, but we also have to look at the Browns. They do have some weapons. You're still talking about Odell. I know he's still rehabbing. And then you got the running game. Then you got the defense. Oh, man, with Garrett. So, I mean, it's going to be a battle. It will be a great game to watch, but definitely my edge goes to the Chargers.
Okay. And then our last pick'em game, we got the Bills on the road to Kansas City. I don't see this as an upset, but I see Bills as just better. Patrick Mahomes, you really can't stop him. You just can't stop him, but their defense can't stop anybody either. And the Bills come fully loaded. I'm just picking Bills on the road in Kansas City. Josh Allen, their offense, their defense, I just think they have a better team. Again, I'll use the word superior. They're far superior in all three phases, where the Kansas City is just great on offense. They're great on offense, but man, you saw, again, going back to the Ravens game, if a team, and that was the blueprint, you run on the Chiefs, you will win. And the Bills can do that. They can run, but they can also pass. And so I think Kansas City, and because I'm picking the Bills, Kansas City probably will win. Mahomes is like that. Andy Reid, God bless you. I'm glad you're healthy and well. A couple of games ago, you went to the hospital and they said it was dehydration. And I'm glad you're back on the sideline and able to do your thing. What do you say, Bills and Chiefs?
The Chiefs, people are no longer scared of the Chiefs. I think you said it. Perhaps Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, expose them because they haven't been right since. And even the games they did win, there wasn't a typical Chiefs fashion where they blow you out. We know Cleveland could have won that game. Cleveland could have won that game against Kansas City. Kansas City easily could have been 1-3 right now. So no one's scared of them. Yet I did say early on, I believe that the AFC Championship game can be the Bills versus the Chiefs. This can be that preview. But based off of what's been happening the last 4 weeks, I picked the Bills. The Bills we thought last year were, okay, just a flash in the pan. It's the COVID-19 effect. Oh, it's up is down, with down is up. Okay, these guys are serious. These guys are serious. And they have a running game. They have a very comfortable and confident young quarterback. He has weapons to throw it to, and he has no problems running out of the pocket. And I think people are underestimating the Bills. I believe that they can come into Kansas City, into hostile territory, and bust the Chiefs in the mouth. You said it straight. Offensively, the Chiefs are incredible, but defensively, there's a lot of holes. And they've always had some holes in the defense. The issue was that the offense, they put enough points up that people couldn't compete with that pace. But now teams learn how to slow down their offense where they can get their offense on and still score at a higher clip as well, but have the defense to stop. And that's what happens. All right, Kansas City was that team. Everyone's chasing for them. They had to build their rosters to defeat them. So now the defense has been able to catch up with them to slow them down. So I expect the Bills to win that game. Another classic game. I mean, this is going to be a good weekend of football, again, based off these records. And this can really set the tone for some of these teams' seasons.
Okay. All right. Change gears real quick, but 2 quick pick'ems. We got wild card in the Major League Baseball. We got the Yankees against Boston. The game is playing right now. You got to pick that one. And then tomorrow, we got the Dodgers against the Cardinals in a wild card game. It's a one-off. Who do you got each series?
Yankees, Dodgers.
Okay. Simple enough. I'm with you. I'm an old Steinbrenner fan, man. We can talk about Reggie Jackson. We can go back, I just love the way it just come on, Yankees. Come on, Yankees. And when we came on air, they were losing 2-0. And so somebody from the Boston Red Sox, who was it? Devers smashed a home run. I was like, uh-oh, it's going to be one of those days. So I haven't got an update. So to you Yankee fans out there, I'm with you. And my co-host is with you as well. Dodgers, everybody already know. If you've been watching this show long enough, if you've been with us long enough, it's LA. It's West Side all day, every day. Come on, Dodgers, tomorrow at home against the Cardinals. If you had a redo, Vic, going back to the NFL, you had your division picks, and we're at the quarter turn. Real quick, sir, if you had a mulligan, would you change any of your picks, whether it's AFC, NFC? If you had to do it over again, would you do it? Would you change?
I still want to say my Ravens are going to be the AFC North champs. Now, I would relook the AFC East. I like what New England is trying to do, but I have to defer to the Bills as far as the champs. AFC West, oh my goodness. Yes, I went all in with Kansas City. Based off of what's happening now, I'd have to say the Chargers. Last year I probably would have told you the Raiders, but the Chargers have knocked everyone off. They've knocked everyone off. I don't remember who they lost to, but they are that team. And for the NFC, no changes. I still believe the Rams are the best in the West. Cowboys, I mean, I don't think anyone else in the East can compete with them. Aaron Rodgers owns the North, and Tom Brady owns the South. Do you add any changes?
Yeah, I'm not changing a thing. I have no changes. I'm riding, dying with my choices. I am surprised at the AFC West, Chargers being on top. Didn't see that coming, and I spoke about that earlier. I didn't expect that the NFC West was going to be this competitive. And the 49ers being this terrible, I didn't see that. I expected them to come back healthy and strong. But they're letting me down and a few of our family members down. But otherwise, Cowboys are doing their thing. The Buccaneers are doing their thing in the NFC. Who else we got? Cowboys, Buccaneers, Arizona Cardinals leading. I didn't see that coming. So I am surprised. We talked about them earlier, but no, sir. To answer your question, I will not change a thing. It's only a quarter of the season, and it's a long season, and we got a few more games left. Let's have this discussion again in another 4 weeks, sir, and see where we are. I just want to say,
like a plan.
I know you're going to see the game this weekend. Be safe. Have a great time. And I, of course, am expecting to see you next week here on Taking It to the House. Be careful. Not everybody respects COVID, space, and time. Not everybody's wearing masks. And so you, Victor, and your family, I'm assuming you're going with family. Just be careful, brother. I love you. To our Take It to the House fans, I want to say thank you for joining and being with us for another episode. We want to know what you think. We want to know your pitch. We want to know what your team is doing. What does your team have to do to be on the mountaintop in the end? Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know on Facebook what it is that you'd like us to be able to discuss. We want to discuss it with you, whether it's in Twitter or Facebook or another platform. Thank you again for sharing with us and being with us on Taking It to the House.
To all our fans, as always, we love this time with you. We gave you some bonus minutes today just to simmer on that and marinate on that. So, hey, let's go Dodgers, okay? Take It to the House fans, whether you're a Dodger fan or a baseball fan or not, listen, just get your rally cap out and let the Dodgers make it to the show. You cannot have over 100 wins and get bounced in the first round before you're getting really to the playoffs. So we want a piece of the Giants. Let's do this thing. So Take That House fans, think about us during this week as us being Cali dudes. If I got a chance to shoot you a little Twitter, I will, based off of how well the Dodgers do tomorrow night. So again, you all be safe. Enjoy. We had a great time today. Hit us up on Twitter. Shoot us a note on Facebook. We love you all. See you next week. I'm out.